Carl Jung once remarked that everything that bothers us about others can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Think about how often you've been genuinely annoyed by someone. Maybe it's the coworker who never stops talking, the friend who is chronically late, or the driver who cuts you off without a second thought. It's a nearly universal experience. Certain people and behaviors trigger something in us that feels like tension in the chest, a sudden spike of frustration, or even rage. But as Jung, one of the most significant psychologists of the 20th century, pointed out, that irritation isn't really about the other person. It's a signal, one pointing inward, revealing unresolved emotions or unacknowledged truths about our own inner world. It's an unsettling idea, no doubt. We're used to blaming the external world, assuming our discomfort is caused by the flaws and faults of others. Yet through Jung's lens, we begin to see something very different. He believed that what disturbs us in others is often a reflection of parts of ourselves that we've pushed into the unconscious, parts we've rejected, disowned, or refused to accept. In this sense, irritation is not just discomfort. It's a mirror, showing us the pieces of our psyche we've tried to bury. Hermann Hesse, a thinker influenced by Jung, once said, "If you hate someone, you hate something in him that is part of yourself. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us." It's a bold declaration, but it holds a profound truth. When someone gets under our skin, it's often because they've touched something sensitive, a vulnerability or insecurity we haven't come to terms with. This is the core of what Jung called projection. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism, an unconscious process by which we attribute our unwanted thoughts, feelings, or traits to others. We might project our own fears, insecurities, or unprocessed emotions onto the people around us, turning them into screens onto which we cast the unresolved dramas of our inner life. For example, if someone's constant need for attention irritates you, it might be because you secretly crave attention too, but feel ashamed of it. Or if your friend's tardiness enrages you, it may reveal your own struggle with control or fear of being dismissed. Projections don't show us the world as it is, they distort it. They turn reality into a replica of our own hidden face. In doing so, we begin reacting not to people as they truly are, but to fragments of ourselves reflected back at us. The world becomes a distorted mirror, one where we're not engaging with others authentically, but wrestling with our own shadows. Think about how often arrogant or boastful people annoy you. It's easy to dismiss them as self-absorbed or intolerable, but why does it affect you so much? Look closer, and you might realize that their behavior triggers a feeling of inadequacy in you, a fear that you're not good enough, or resentment toward those who appear more self-assured. In this light, the person irritating you becomes a catalyst for introspection. Instead of reacting automatically, Jung encourages us to ask, what is this irritation really revealing about me? Jung's concept of the shadow is key here. The shadow represents the unconscious aspects of our personality, the traits we suppress because they don't align with the image we want to present to the world. These aren't just the dark emotions like jealousy, anger, or greed. The shadow also includes traits we might admire but feel unworthy of expressing, like assertiveness or ambition. When we see these traits in others, they stir something deep inside, often manifesting as irritation or judgment. The problem is that ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. It continues to live beneath the surface, subtly shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions. We lash out, criticize others, or judge harshly, not realizing we're projecting what we haven't yet owned in ourselves. Jung once noted the tragedy of people sabotaging their own lives and those of others without realizing that the true source of their suffering lies within. This cycle of irritation, blame, and misunderstanding continues until we recognize the pattern. The outside world seems full of flaws, but in reality, we're seeing our own fragmented self projected outward. And here lies the opportunity. Recognizing projection is not a condemnation, it's an invitation. It's a chance to do the hard, necessary work of reclaiming those disowned parts of ourselves. When you catch yourself feeling irritated, you can pause and ask, what part of me is this touching? That moment of awareness opens a doorway to growth. It's not easy. It requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to face truths we've avoided. But the rewards, deeper self-knowledge, more meaningful relationships, and a sense of wholeness, are well worth it. Let's look at a practical scenario. Suppose a coworker regularly takes credit for your ideas. Naturally, you feel angry and resentful. You might label them as selfish or manipulative. But if you step back and reflect, you may realize that your strong reaction stems from a deep need for recognition, a need that perhaps went unmet earlier in life or one you feel uncomfortable admitting. This doesn't mean your coworker's behavior is acceptable. It means your emotional response is pointing to a wound within you. Jung's teachings are not about tolerating mistreatment or excusing toxic behavior. Rather, they show us how our emotions, especially the intense ones, can be powerful tools for self-discovery. You can still set boundaries, speak up and defend yourself, while also exploring why certain behaviors trigger you more than others. The aim isn't to suppress irritation, it's to understand it, and through that understanding to heal. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." By confronting our projections, we begin to reclaim control over our internal world. We stop blaming others and start taking responsibility for what lives in us. This shift is powerful. The people who once irritated us become mirrors, revealing the pieces of ourselves we refuse to embrace. The work is not easy. It demands courage to face your own darkness. But with each insight, the grip of those projections loosens. You start seeing others more clearly, unfiltered by your own emotional residue. Your relationships improve, and you begin to experience a quieter, more grounded inner life. Consider someone who can't stand laziness in others. They might see the unmotivated as weak, irresponsible, or infuriating. But deep down, this irritation might stem from their own fear of being perceived as lazy, or from a belief that their worth depends entirely on being productive. Recognizing this allows them to explore that internal pressure rather than just reacting on autopilot. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of others, Jung once said. When you become familiar with your own shadows, fears, and needs, you naturally develop more compassion, not only for others but also for yourself. You understand that everyone is carrying something, and most of us are simply doing our best to manage our internal chaos. So next time you feel irritation rising up, don't rush to judge or respond. Instead, take a breath. Ask yourself, what is this discomfort showing me about me? Maybe it's pointing to an unhealed wound, a buried fear, or a part of you that longs to be acknowledged. Yes, it might stir painful memories. It might shine light on things you'd rather avoid. But this process of making the unconscious conscious is also how we grow. It's how we become more integrated, more whole, more human. We begin to see others and ourselves with greater clarity and compassion. In the end, Jung offers more than theory. He offers a path, one where irritation is not a nuisance, but a signal, one where discomfort becomes a doorway, one where the person who annoys you might be holding a mirror, and in that mirror, you may find the very key to a more peaceful, authentic, and fulfilled life.